Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois.
Fly ball hit the deep left. In the corner, Bryant's got it. Cubs win.
Cubs get it done tonight. A little close at the end, but they hang on and win 4-3, 4-7-0. A little bit better than 3-4-1. Cubs improved to a major league best, 15-5. Hello, welcome to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. He's Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Wow, how much fun could the city of Chicago have this summer? Sox have 15 wins. I believe they're 15-6. Cubs are 15-5, best record in the game. Two teams with 15 wins reside in the city limits of our town. In the city of
Chicago, it's a fun conversation on the national, no doubt about it. I get to talk about it in the morning over at MLB Network Radio, and it is. It's a lot of fun. Got to talk to Phil Rogers this morning about it. A lot of good things are happening, but the thing that excites me about both of these teams, the Cubs and even the White Sox, I don't think they've played their best baseball yet. There's areas and pockets where you're like, Anthony Rizzo's definitely going to hit for a little higher average. The bottom of our lineups, Addison Russell's going to do more.
Jason Hayward.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just things there that you're like, you feel like this is still going to build. I remember the team that we saw at the end of last year when they were playing their best baseball and we were watching them push for the playoffs. I look at this team and think, man, they are talented and they're deep, but they still haven't really played that complete, run where, when that happens, man, it's going to be really convincing how good they are. And I know the records tell us that they're great. And even for the White Sox right now, who are just starting to hit, their pitching's been electric. Both teams have room to even be better.
All right, let's look at the highlights of tonight's Cubs victory over the Brewers. After a leadoff walk to Chris Carter, Kirk Neuenhuis will drive one past Dexter Fowler in center. Carter goes for third. Neuenhuis will check in with a double, and that ball was smoked.
Yeah, one of the few balls that was smoked and actually got down tonight. Got good wood on it. It's a pitch up in the zone. Not a whole lot of action up at the top of the zone. As a matter of fact, for Kyle tonight, only 3 balls actually ended up being elevated. Here's the sacrifice fly right here. Again, a ball up in the zone. So when Kyle struggles just a little bit, it always seems like it's a little bit of a pocket. 2, 3, 4 hitters in a row.
And then Carter tags and scores on the Aaron Hill fly. Cubs are going to tie it in the 5th. There's a base hit to left, and the Cubs are in business with 2 on and nobody out. There's Jorge Soler on the Addison Russell base hit right through the hole. And then an infield chopper, get it down, get it over. The sac bunt will move everyone up 90 feet after another walk. Pinch hitter Tommy La Stella. Leadoff hitter Dexter Fowler hits one into the teeth of the win in right center. Soler tags and scores. The other runners also move up. Nelson, though, will get Jason Hayward to ground out to end the threat, but the Cubs have even the ball game. Good to see Joe Madden understanding the conditions. He decided to play small ball and got the little roller off the bat, the bunt from Ross.
Well, got the Ross and then actually took Hendricks out of the ball game right there after 5 innings and 69 pitches, was playing for the tie in that situation, wanted to at least get the tie or give himself a better percentage chance with La Stella.
All right, bottom 6. Cubs have 2 on and Addison Russell. That's the best hit ball of the night. Smokes this one at 1 hop to the wall. By the time they make a play on Russell, he's standing on third with a triple. 2 runs are going to score. Really nice piece of hitting here.
Oh, you see the head down on it, staying through the ball. You see the thought. The thought is actually playing out in the swing, looking for something away, looking to drive it away. Got it up into the wind, and I'll tell you, not easy to do tonight with the conditions the way that they were. That wind blowing in and cold. Driving it over the head to the warning track. That really shows you how much power this young man has.
All right, bottom 7. Cubbies will manufacture another run, and they would need it. Javi Baez leads things off with a base hit to center. Then Baez is going to try and steal second. He's 15 pounds lighter than a year ago. He's running well, but that throw beats him by a country mile. But he says, hey, the guy never tagged me. He didn't get me till I was already on the bag. But he's called out. Cubs will challenge after Baez pleads his case. He's safe. And then Anthony Rizzo with the shift on, dribbles one into right field. That will add a run, and the Cubs have a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, good to see right there. A nice piece of hitting by Anthony Rizzo, recognizing the overshift, getting one through there, and adding that all-important run. That run right there by Baez, that slide leads to, well, your eventual game-winning run. This ends up being a 4-3 ball game.
That's right. Our UPS store taking care of business player of the game is Kyle Hendricks. He allowed just 1 run on 2 hits, 5 innings of work. Hendricks struck out 4 and walked one, and he was really, really
well,
good.
Well, fantastic to see. Now, he comes into the ballgame with really good numbers against the Brewers, 4-1 record, 145 ERA against those Brewers. Good to see him get after it tonight, especially after his last start. A little disconnected. It wasn't an awful effort. Certainly just some bad numbers kind of coming out of that Cardinal start. But all things considered, kept the ball down. We love to see the ground balls. Got 10 of them in this ballgame tonight, which is always important. 69 pitches, Cap, you and I both know he could have gone longer.
Oh,
they had to get him out.
Absolutely could have, but they wanted to get that run in, get this thing even. He goes 5 innings, gives up just the 1 earned. Bullpen gets some much-needed work. Adam Warren pitched tonight. Coming in tonight, bullpen had pitched just 43 innings all year, but they got some really good work in tonight. Strop was not great, but in the end, they hang on and get a victory.
Well, the one thing that really stands out in this ballgame, and you hear me talk about it all the time, especially with the bullpen. Now, it happened to Kyle as well. Walks. The 3 walks that the Cubs issued in this ballgame all scored leading up to the Braun. That's what got Strop in trouble there. The 2 walks that got him into that situation, that pickle with Braun coming up with runners in scoring position in that pitch inning appearance, both got on base because of the walk. So, again, it's about throwing strikes in these conditions, and in some regards, trusting that the conditions, even on hard-hit balls in the air, they're going to be tracked down by your outfielders. It is in your favor. You got to use your conditions and don't put guys on base. So, again, that's one thing that hopefully will clean up for tomorrow, even though I know we got Arrieta going. So,
all right, now it's time to hear from Cubs manager Joe Madden. He meets with the media, brought to you by Xfinity.
Pulled Kyle. I felt we had to do it right there. I told before the inning began, first and second, nobody out or bases loaded, nobody out. We're going to do it. So it happened first and second. Rossi puts down a perfect bunt. Tommy was the right guy in that moment. It would have been nice to have gotten more runs. We had the opportunity, but getting one was plenty. We needed that badly. And I just want to say about Kyle right there, a lot of guys would have been crying. A lot of guys, why me? He did not do that for 1 second. He understood the situation completely. And I'm here to tell you that doesn't happen every time. When you talk about a good teammate, a guy that gets it, totally understands. He was pitching great. There's no reason to take him. That's a National League move entirely right there. It's a National League move based on the wind blowing in your face, the Hawks up. Dexter should have had a grand slam tonight. That's just how this place plays right now. So I really commend him for getting it.
Can we talk before the game about maybe what kind of advantage the guys did that?
Yeah, to get Nelson out, because Nelson has really, I'm really impressed by him. Really good stuff. 109 pitches, what, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, something like that. Yeah, we were able to grind good ground game. We just totally. We've been doing. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody talks about his hitting. It's been the approach. The approach has been what's been so interesting to watch, and so a big part of our success. So we had a great approach tonight. That guy's good. Under the circumstances, the way the ballpark played tonight, we did everything as we should have.
Joe, can you talk about Addison Russell? It just seems like he becomes even a better hitter later in games with the game on the line, clutch situation.
Yeah, he's not shy. He's okay with all. He's shy, but he's not shy. He's not afraid of that moment. He hits that gap in big moments too, the right central gap. I just think, like this last road trip, this part that I liked about his at-bats was that he was accepting walks. He had 3 walks in one game, and I think another 0-2 to 4-2 walk in Cincinnati. So I think a big part of what you're seeing right now successfully is the fact that he's swinging at better pitches. That's what it means.
I know we scrutinized Javi's head first slides quite a bit. At one time where it paid off.
Yeah, the swim move. It's a really nice defensive end swim move. It's the Jim Edmonds swim move. It's now the Javi Baez swim move. Yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things that are criticized if somebody gets hurt, but then when it actually works, beautiful play, So it was, and he immediately, as you saw, gestured into the dugout. That's not why I challenged. We waited for our crack team in the video room to come back at us, and they were right on it, so I had nothing to do with it.
Hey, Joe, last year you talked about taking 5 games above 510. You did in 5, and that was such a grind to get 10 over. Here you are 20 games in, and you're 10 over. A little different feel, right? Not as much of a grind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, last year we were just getting a lot of young guys broken in. I felt we were good last year, but it took a while to really, get it all working. KB had to show up. Addison eventually playing shortstop was a big play. Forberg getting here. There's a lot of different parts that did not arrive early enough regardless of lack of experience or just we just hadn't played well enough to that point. So, yeah, it's kind of nice. I was not lost. I mean, I do think in increments of 5. And, of course, now you want to stay there and then move it to the next 5.
All right, there you go. And that was about the end of the press conference there. Time for a break here on Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Holly and I, a whole lot more to do. We'll be right back.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all.
Something doesn't feel right.
Green lights across the board. What's going on up there?
No backup system. Houston, I'm flying solo here.
Does he have it?
I'm on it. Re-entry in 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for the care package, Houston. Dinner's on me. Just another day in the rocket biz. Oh, fudge nuggets.
What's the most awarded car company of the year? Ranking from top to bottom.
Luxury cars seem like they would be top awarded.
There better be some awards behind what you're paying for, right?
The final answer? Chevy, the most awarded car company 2 years in a row.
Wow, it's like a luxury car.
I was shocked. I mean, it's like, this is Chevy?
For a limited time, get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on most remaining 2015 Chevy vehicles while they last. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Why jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Why not? Chicagoland Skydiving Center was voted the best in the U.S. with a perfect safety record, a one-of-a-kind environment, and round-trip shuttle service from downtown Chicago. Come experience the greatest adventure in the area. Chicagoland Skydiving Center in Rochelle. Visit us at perfectlygoodairplane.com.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
What happened? I'm gonna kill a man and kill my son.
The Revenant is nominated for 12 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor Leonardo DiCaprio, Best Supporting Actor Tom Hardy.
God give it, God take it away.
The Revenant. Movies start at Channel 125.
CSN Chicago thanks your Chicago Blackhawks for an exciting season.
Time now for our Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Who's hot and who's not? We take a look at the Brewers versus the Jake Meister, Jake Arrieta. Who's hot? Ryan Braun, 400. Hits the Cubs ace with a long ball and 4 runs batted in. Also has a 1,200 on-base plus slug. And who's not? Jonathan Lucroy, hitting only 200 against Jake with an RBI and a 200 on-base percentage. That's not good. Welcome back to Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Cap and Holly with you. Let's check our Sports Authority play of the game. Came in the bottom of the 6th. 2 on. Wind howling in. Addison Russell does exactly, Holly, what you do in those conditions.
I love it. Stayed through the baseball right there. Got a fastball up. Good pitch to hit. And again, as we talk about this, it's interesting. You know, hitters know this too. Pitchers should be more aggressive in the zone because of the conditions. So you're thinking along with the situation, looking for something to drive with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Gets that pitch up, doesn't pull off of it, doesn't try to do something to left field. Stays on it, stays through it, and drives it into the right center field gap. Unloads the bases right there. Not that they were loaded. We had 2 guys on, but gets the scoring going, and it was a huge hit for the Cubs as they were kind of playing this little tap dance game of it's really cold outside. Who's going to score first with the Brewers?
All right, time for our Honda winning box score, and this one belongs to the Chicago Cubs. Dexter and Jason Hayward, a rough night at the top, 0 for 8 combined. With Bryant, Rizzo had hits, a 2-hit night for Addison Russell, David Ross with a hit, and enough offense to get a win.
Well, it's great when you see that. It's not a ton of hits in the ballgame, but everything connects. You see with Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Ben Zobrist, everything connects. Even Ben, a couple of walks, one led to a run. Soler, by the way, started that inning where we got the scoring going with a nice 3-2 pitch walk. Got it going. We got the Addison Russell hit. We got things moving. That's the inning where Hendricks comes out. So things are making sense. Listen, we've talked about it an awful lot. This isn't a team. We don't have 6 300 hitters in the lineup with 5 homers and 20 RBIs in the season. But what the offensive approach this season, you heard Joe Madden talk about it as well, has been one of the best in baseball. They connect their at-bats, they make things happen, they take their walks, and they grind pitchers down to the ground and get in that bullpen.
Time for another break. A Cubs postgame live presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Coming up, Jake Arrieta has a message for all his critics regarding PEDs. You won't want to miss what Cubs ace had to say. We'll have it after the break.
Garages have many uses. So use yours in the best way possible with amazing deals on terrific Honda products, like the all-new, more powerful Honda Civic with improved ride and handling, plus a roomier interior. Winner gets to drive.
The Honda Dream Garage sales event is happening now. And you've got a garage to fill.
The Honda Dream Garage sales event is almost over, so don't miss out. Now at your Honda dealer.
Today's the day. Oh, look, creepy gloves for my feet. When I was a kid, there was a handle and a face. This is nice. And does it come in a California King? Getting a roid rage. Hemorrhoid. These are the worst, right? I'm gonna buy them. Boom. I'll take them. Impulse buy.
American Express presents the Blue Cash Everyday Card with no annual fee.
It's all happening.
Cash back on purchases.
There we go.
Backed by the service and security of American Express.
With T-Mobile, you pay $95 a month for a smaller network, and monthly taxes and fees are always extra. With Cricket, you get an unlimited plan on a bigger network for $65 a month after $5 auto-pay credit. And monthly taxes and fees are always included. Looks like T-Mobile's not all it's cracked up to be. And now, for a limited time, switch to Cricket and get a $50 bill credit. Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about.
What would we be without our mountains? Without the things that stand in our way, that make us better? At Coors, our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. Lagered, filtered, and packaged cold. Our mountains make us who we are. Your mountains make you who you are. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
This car wasn't made in Detroit, or Tokyo, or Mexico City. This, the Mini Clubman, was crafted in Oxford, England. A place where mass production isn't all that massive. And each car is engineered, customized, tuned, and crafted one at a time. Introducing the new Mini Clubman, made in Oxford.
It's Jake Arrieta night, so can we just chalk up a W?
I envision pitching like this, throwing no hitters.
Anytime he goes out there, you think he can throw one.
All eyes on the pitcher. Swing and a miss. 3 outs away.
You'd never want to interfere with somebody's greatness.
Here comes the 2-2. In the air, this should do it. Jason Hayward makes a catch. It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again.
2 no-hitters in 2 years for Jake Arrieta. Welcome back to Cubs Postgame Live, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Recently, USA Today published a story about Jake Arrieta with whispers from other Major League players who believed the Cubs ace was on PEDs. Before today's game, Arrieta delivered a stern message back to his critics.
People like that just don't appreciate hard work. You know, maybe they expect things to be easy, or you know, things to just kind of fall in your lap without having to put in the time and the effort and everything that goes into it, the sacrifices you make from the time away from your family, the nutrition and the training. It's part of it. I mean, that's that's the hardest part of my year is the off season. I mean, you get a couple weeks off, but then it's back to work. So I think it's flattering to hear mentions of that. You know, my teammates and personally myself, I know I've never taken any shortcuts, and I don't ever intend to. I think it's funny because I've always been in good shape. I just sucked early in my career from a statistical perspective. So my body's always been very similar to how it is now. So it's just the numbers, the results are different. So, you know, people want to question things, and that's just kind of the nature of sports.
All right, so Jake also did say he thought there should be stronger testing. Right. He says, I'm not doing anything. And you heard him say, I've always been in good shape like this. I mean, the guy's ripped.
Jacked, yeah.
He's jacked. But he's also having more success.
Absolutely.
What's your take when you hear, because you were a guy who swore you would never take him and you never did. Right. It probably cost you millions of dollars had you taken him.
Well, you know, I mean, it is part of the generation that mine was defined by, is the PED era. And, you know, you see the reaction from the players today. Now, suspicion, I mean, again, you know, I think we've all put ourselves in a spot where we look at the player and we think, does he look different? Like, how do we explain his success? And for many, because of the PED era, and I blame our generation for this, that in a lot of ways, one's success today can be blamed on PEDs. Well, he didn't have that success with the Baltimore Orioles. Why is he having it with the Cubs? Well, I know firsthand that there's a pool of young, talented pitchers, just saw a report on this the other day, that have not turned into, with the Baltimore Orioles, some of the players that they were supposed to be. Zach Britton, for example, who's turned into a great closer, was supposed to be a great starter. Jake Arrieta was in that same pool of guys. There's reports out there as to why these things happen, but it is human nature. I get it. I certainly have looked at, you know, the PED era, played through it, look at what it's like now. You have to tread lightly on this. I mean, again, I'm in the position. I look at this. I look at the players. You better come up with some concrete evidence. You better come up with a failed test before you start pointing fingers. So whispers, whatever. I mean, what do we know about Jake Arrieta? The guy works his tail off. We know it start to finish, does it during the offseason. If it happens, it happens.
His body hasn't changed.
There isn't any evidence for us to say, well, Jake, you know, you look different. Because he doesn't. I mean, honestly, he looks like the same guy that we saw day one
3 years
Chicago
ago.
To the guy that we see today. He just has a lot more polish, and he knows what he wants to do.
No question about it. Time for another break here on Cubs Postgame Live, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Coming up, we'll look at Holly's key to tonight's game. Look ahead at tomorrow's starter, Jake Arrieta. But first, introducing the Jumbo Collection from the Illinois Lottery, a new family of instant tickets where you can win up to $3 million instantly. Get ready to live large.
Make sure he's in bed by 8.
Sometimes I get scared.
Scared of what, Danny?
The things I can't see.
Got a weird feeling.
Almost forgot. In case anything happens.
Dad, I got this.
I have a list.
Okay.
So, she needs automatic emergency braking, blind spot detection, and lane departure warning.
All available on the Elantra and Sonata.
And a better warranty than Toyota, Nissan, or Chevy.
America's best warranty, standard with every Hyundai.
Let's check in with the boss.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me.
We'll take both.
Hurry in and lease the 2016 Sonata for just $145 a month.
Just one.
She seems like a great boss.
Give your floors a new look with Menard's super selection of vinyl flooring. It's inexpensive and easy to install. Logic sheet vinyl in 2 colors is 79 cents a square foot. Stonegate in 3 colors is 99 cents a square foot. Make hardwood floors beautiful with Minwax polyurethane on sale now, including new complete one-step floor finish with stain and polyurethane in one. Save $7 a gallon after rebate. Add beauty with savings from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
For the we in team. That's
That's why we're here. This week, get great deals on the best brands like Nike, Under Armour, Easton, and more. Only at Sports Authority.
Before the Cadillac ATS-V shook the establishment. Before every angle was carved for competition. Before road-ready meant track-capable. Before its speed left the segment behind. Before it all, the Cadillac ATS. The fastest turbo 4-cylinder sedan in its class. Daring runs in the family. Purchase this ATS with 0% APR for 60 months. Visit your Cadillac dealer today.
Cubs fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking, an official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs and learn more. Member FDIC. Time now for Todd Hollandsworth's key to tonight's game.
All right, well, going into the ballgame, we knew it was going to be cold at Wrigley Field. We're also coming off a day off. I had that sinking feeling, that's the cold part about this, and it's really what these two guys, Nelson going and Hendricks going tonight, knowing that they both used the two-seamer very, very well, keeping the ball on the ground, and both actually did a very good job of this. I just knew that this was going to be an offensive creation type of day, and you saw it play out. Thankfully for us, the Cubs got a little bit more in getting this 4-3 victory, but you saw it particularly early in this ball game, the ball on the ground repeatedly. It's exactly what they wanted to do, and even the balls in the air that were struck hard were caught by the outfielder. So a classic cold day at Wrigley Field with a couple sinker ballers going.
All right, quickly, let's check out the pitching matchup for tomorrow's Game 2 of the 3-game set. It's Taylor Jungmann against Jake Arrieta.
Well, you know how this matchup favors. Jungmann's had struggles. He was big last year for him, but he's had issues with his breaking ball. So we'll see how it goes with the conditions tomorrow, but we got the big guy going. Right. 2 in a row?
We'll see. Let's go get it. All right?
No. 2 no-nos. See if we can do it again.
Awesome. You look like Johnny Vandermeer.
Right.
Thanks for watching Cubs Postgame Live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mark Shanowski is next with Chris Bowden.
I've always been in good shape. I just sucked early in my career.
With success comes skeptics, and Jake Arrieta sounds off before being honored at Wrigley. Hi, everyone. Welcome into Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC with Mark Shanowski. I'm Chris Bowden.
While Arrieta received a well-deserved salute from the Wrigley faithful, the White Sox ace continued sailing along.
Strike 3. Strike 3.
No longer the defending champs. We pick up the pieces after the Hawks are singing the blues.
Chicago Bears.
They're in love with you.
I think they are.
But will Zeke still be on the board when the Bears pick at number 11? Sportsnet Central starts now.
To Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC.
White Sox ace Chris Sale trying for his 5th straight win to start the season, taking on the Blue Jays in Toronto. Sale had faced 74 straight batters without giving up a walk. That's the longest streak in the majors, but that streak would come to an end in the bottom of the first inning. It ends at 76. Sale also trying to pitch to contact early in the count, get some help from his defense. Nice play by Brent Lowry there to throw out Michael Saunders. We move ahead to the top of the 3rd inning, still scoreless when Avi Garcia gets a hold of this knuckler from R.A. Dickey.
Garcia puts a charge into it. Left center field. This ball is up and out of here. Back onto the field of play. Avi Garcia gives the Sox the lead.
Oh, Garcia jumps all over the knuckler, makes it 1-0 good guys. We jump ahead to the 5th inning. Sox have the bases loaded, nobody out. Austin Jackson at the plate, and he gets a hold of one. Splits the gap in right center field. That will bring home a pair of runs. Jackson coasts into second with a double. It's now 3-0 in favor of the visitors. They tack on another to make it 4-zip. Plenty of run support for Chris Sale, who was on cruise control throughout this one. That's why he's smiling so much. Sale only had 4 strikeouts through 6, but the Blue Jays managed to get just 1 hit. Now to the top of the 7th inning of the Sox offense. Well, it kept rolling. Switch hitting catcher Deoner Navarro, who's the everyday catcher now, takes Dickey deep to right. That's over the wall for a 2-run homer. Sox scored 3 times in the inning, making it 7-1 after 7. Bottom of the 8th now. Sale still in there and still in command. Striking out Josh Tolley with some high heat. Then he gets Josh Donaldson to ground out to second. That will end the inning. Sale goes 8 strong, allows just 4 hits, 1 run with 6 Ks. Sox tacked on 3 more in the 9th just for fun, make it 5 straight wins for Robin Ventura's guys. They continue to own the best record in the American League at 15-6. How about that? The Chris Sale Cy Young campaign can now officially begin. It's just the 5th time a Sox starter has won 5 games without a loss before the calendar even turns to May. Esteban Loaiza. Remember him? He did it back in 03, started in the All-Star game that year. Before that, it was done 3 years in a row by the likes of Wilson Alvarez and Blackjack McDowell. Now, after the game, Navarro talked about what it's like to catch a dominant pitcher like Sale.
Unbelievable, man. This guy is a warrior. Everything he throws moves. It's actually a lot easier to face him than to catch him. I can say that. It was amazing, man. We've been playing great baseball together. We're doing our thing, and, you know, our pitching staff is being outstanding throughout the whole year, and we just continue to put runs in the board, and they keep doing their job.
Running in, he hit his first home run of the year.
We will have much more on Chris Sale and the first-place White Sox a little bit later in the show. We'll take a closer look at the production Robin Ventura got from the bottom of the batting order during that blowout win tonight.
Here comes the 2-2. In the air, this should do it. Jason Hayward makes a catch. It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again.
The Cubs honored Jake Arrieta prior to the homestand opener against the Brewers after throwing his second no-hitter in as many seasons last Thursday. But as he prepared for Wednesday's bid for a second straight no-hitter, he also addressed whispers by some fans, even apparently some opposing players, that this career turnaround might be because of performance enhancers.
I think it's flattering to hear mentions of that. You know, my teammates and personally myself, I know I've never taken any shortcuts, and I don't ever intend to. I think it's funny because I've always been in good shape. I just sucked early in my career from a statistical perspective. So my body's always been very similar to how it is now. So it's just the numbers, the results are different. So, you know, people want to question things, and that's just kind of the nature of sports.
Well, speaking of chilly, Cubs hosting their neighbors to the north, and that's where the wind gusts were coming from. Straight over the scoreboard, a blustery night in the opener of a 6-game homestand. Let's pick it up. 1-1 in the 6th. Chris Bryant leading off with a chopper to third. Aaron Hill boots it. So Bryant reaches on the air. Now with 2 on and 2 outs, Addison Russell digs in.
It has been a small ball night since we started. And now some big ball maybe. That's going to split the alley. 2 runs are going to score. How about a triple?
A piercing line drive is the answer on a night like tonight, and Russell delivers.
Cubs take the 3-1 lead on the big 2-out knock by their shortstop. Then more Cubs offense in the 7th after Javier Baez led off with a single. He's off and running. The throw beats him. He's called out, but right away Baez wants a review, and here's the reason. He gets his left arm around the tag. I think that is right arm. And then the foot's on when the hand comes off. The call does in fact get overturned. That would be a big slide and call because later in the inning, 2 outs, Anthony Rizzo finds some open space there, and that will bring in Baez. Cubs extend the lead to 3 at 4-1. Pedro Strop on to pitch the 8th. He would walk a couple of guys, and with the red-hot Ryan Braun pinch hitting, takes the first pitch he gets into the corner and right, and that will allow both Brewers to score and cuts the Cubs lead to 4-3. Hector Rondon in to close it out in the 9th. 2 outs. Aaron Hill with the go-ahead run as the go-ahead run at the plate sends one deep to left. Can the wind push this one back in? Chris Bryant underneath it, and that is it. The Cubs brave the cold, the wind, and the Brewers. 4-3 the final. Here's Joe on his shortstop to come up with another big hit.
He's not shy. You know, he's okay with all. He's shy, but he's not shy. He's not afraid of that moment. He hits that gap in big moments too, the right central gap. I just think like this last road trip, this part that I liked about his at-bats. was that he was accepting walks. He had 3 walks in one game, and I think another 0-2 to 4-2 walk in Cincinnati. So I think a big part of what you're seeing right now successfully is the fact that he's swinging at better pitches. That's what it means.
And of course, we're not done with the Cubs just yet. We'll hear more about the small ball that Joe Maddon's crew used to improve to 15-5 on the young season.
Off the board, Stasny centered it, open net, Brower, and he hit the post and he scored. Troy Brower only had 1 assist in the series. That's a huge goal, his first, and the Blues in front.
Well, it's painful to watch that again. Troy Brower called it the ugliest goal he's ever scored, and Blackhawk fans would certainly agree after watching Brower end his former team's season in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So the Hawks fail in their attempt to cement a hockey dynasty with back-to-back championships, and now face some difficult salary cap issues this summer. Pat Boyle has more on the defending champs' early exit.
I think right now it just doesn't really feel right.
No, it doesn't, Patrick. Survive in advance. We've seen the Hawks do it time and again the past 7 seasons, getting the big goal at the most critical time. But there's a fine line in hockey, and the Hawks danced across it in the 3rd period in Game 7, but never crossed it.
We just missed the poke, too. We had a sniff there. It looked like a minor, I don't know. We didn't get the positive feedback from the headset, so it was close.
The Indian head may be on the front of the sweater, but a bullseye has been on the back for a while. That's part of the territory when you approach dynasty status. And with the rest of the Central Division focusing on how to beat the Blackhawks and the NHL playoff format putting rivalry over regular season points, a first-round matchup could end up feeling like the final step to the Stanley Cup Finals.
We've had some first rounds that felt like a conference finals. And that's the division we're in, the conference we're in. This is the best in the game, and you got to win 4 series against tough teams and tough opponents. And we had the toughest matchup you could have faced in the first round, and that's the draw. And we didn't get it done.
We've seen it before in Chicago when you finally get past your rival, whether it was the Bulls saying goodbye to the bad boys, the Hawks leaping the Red Wings, and the Cubs sending the Cardinals home. And now, the Blues finally knocking off the defending champs, a feeling that Kane and the Hawks aren't used to.
They're a good hockey team. I mean, it's I know they were looking for it for a long time to break through and get past the first round. So, we're kind of worried about what we were going to do in here, and no matter who we were playing, we thought we had a good chance to win. So it's just a disappointing, weird feeling right now.
With the Blackhawks, Pat Boyle, Comcast Sportsnet.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Comcast Sportsnet will bring you the Blackhawks end-of-the-season news conferences tomorrow morning starting at 11:30. You'll hear from General Manager Stan Bowman, Head Coach Joel Quenneville, and many of the key players. That's tomorrow morning at 11:30, only here on Comcast Sportsnet.
We turn our attention to the NFL Draft when Sportsnet Central continues with Ezekiel Elliott believing there could be a lot of love for him at number 11. Speaking of the monsters of the Midway, Adrian Amos was honored this afternoon by his teammates, and soon after it was revealed he had some work done earlier this offseason. And it's back to business for the former coach of the Bulls. We'll hear from Tibbs about getting back to doing his job.
Sportsnet Central on Comcast Sportsnet is presented to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh?
Yep, per second.
How about that?
This is the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or get nearly $8,300 total value on specially equipped 2016 Sierra Crew Cab SLT models. GMC, we are professional grade.
We built this thingy. We built this thingy on tech that's old. We built this thingy.
Yeah, Xfinity built this newer thingy that lets me search with my voice.
We're good.
Don't fall for DirecTV. Find shows faster with the X1 voice remote, only from Xfinity. Sign up today or get started with this great offer. Call or go online today.
Nissan's family of crossovers with intuitive all-wheel drive. See driving in a more confident light. For a limited time, lease Rogue just $189 per month or get 0% financing for up to 36 months. Take on Mother Nature. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Now it's in the hands of the bullpen, and out comes Papa John.
It looks like he's taking this official pizza thing pretty seriously.
For just $6.99 each, get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas.
Papa John's, the official pizza of Major League Baseball.
We're not telling you how to use your garage.
I am bored.
But you could fill it with awesome products from the Honda Dream Garage sales event, like the Odyssey or the restyled Accord. They're a 2015 IIHS top safety pick with standard rear view camera.
Thank you.
Get moving to your Honda dealer. You've got a garage to fill. Get a great deal at the Honda Dream Garage sales event. Now at your Honda dealer.
If I said to you, tell me the team you think is in love with you, would you be able to tell me? Like, truly fallen in love with you. Do you have one of those teams?
I think Chicago Bears.
They're in love with you.
I think they are.
So Zeke thinks the Bears have a soft spot for him. We caught up with Bears wide receiver Eddie Royal this afternoon and asked what the Buckeyes back could bring to the Bears.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, we all saw that when he was at Ohio State, and our running back coach actually coached him. So there's the connection there, and we all know what type of player he is, and whatever team he's drafted to, he's going to have a long, great professional career.
Another Big Ten product that the Bears chose in the 5th round a year ago, Adrian Amos, who started at safety from opening day, had off-season surgery, according to Vic Fangio. Now, neither the defensive coordinator nor Amos himself would reveal what was operated on, but he was listed on the injury report late in the season with a shoulder problem. He has been participating, however, in the team's voluntary workouts without any issues.
And speaking of Amos, he's been named the rookie recipient of the annual Brian Piccolo Awards. Tight end Zach Miller getting the Veterans honor. The Piccolo Awards honor players who show great dedication, loyalty, teamwork, a commitment to excellence, and of course a sense of humor. But what really makes this award special is the fact it's voted on by the Bears players.
It's a special award. It's voted on by those guys, and to see how I'm viewed, amongst your peers is kind of the most important thing, I think, as a co-worker, as an athlete, as a person. So just honored and blessed. Prestigious award here. I'm just honored. Like I said, Brian Piccolo embodied a lot of different things, and to have that under my name now feels really good.
It means a lot, but mostly because my teammates voted on it. It's something that I feel as though I feel like they respected me enough to vote for me for this award, so it means a lot.
With a couple of former Bears, Alex Brown and Patrick Manley, and the executive editor of Pro Football Weekly, Hub Arkush. I want to talk about some guys, first-round talent on the defensive side, but definitely some baggage. Eastern Kentucky's Noah Spence, who started out at Ohio State before they gave him the boot, and Ole Miss's defensive lineman Robert Kemdiche, who was the big star when it came to signing day a few years ago at Ole Miss. Who would you guys be more interested in drafting, and perhaps a safer pick in terms of who you would like to see? Should, by chance, even the Bears happen to move down if they're interested enough?
I like Noah Spence. I mean, I think he fits a need. I think he fits a need at rushing the quarterback. I love his first step. I mean, he bends the corner like a defensive end, but he can also drop. I think the kid's a really good athlete, and you'll get great value for him.
I'm with you on Noah Spence. I love him on tape. He's great, but the question is, how far or how deep did the scouts go in checking out these guys' background? Because are they worth it? How high are you willing to put some of these red flags in the draft? To me, that's the question. You got to figure out where you could draft those guys. You need to go talk to their high school, gym teacher, to their math teacher, to the barber, whoever, and find out truly who they are some of these mistakes they made kind of kid mistakes, and have they grown up? And I think if you find out the answers you want, which are good, I wouldn't be opposed to getting Noah Spence in the second round.
And in Spence's case, checking with the folks at Ohio State, I know Kim Diche was a real frustrating guy to watch on tape in terms of the talent that he has, but just not putting it all together.
These are both former #1 high school prospects in the country going into college. The difference is Kim Diche has never really shown that ability. He's a freak. The body is incredible. What an athlete. To me, Spence, arrow pointing up. He's worked on his problems. He got himself sober. He stayed out of trouble for the most part. Played well at Eastern Kentucky. Played well the 2 times he played FBS schools. You look at Kim Diche, on the other hand, you don't find much on the tape. He flashes the athletic ability was well, but he seems to take plays off. He doesn't seem focused, and he's still getting goofier. Did you see the story recently? Wants to get a signing bonus so he can go buy himself a Panther. Yeah, that'll play well in the neighborhood, So I think you can probably trust Spence a little bit more character-wise.
Patrick, how much do you think the Randy Gregory situation from last year with Dallas, now he's going to start out this year on the suspended list too? How much is that a warning sign when considering, particularly Spence, who we're talking about?
Well, I think it's real big because it depends on how you draft them, though. Like, I want to go back to where you draft them. If you're getting them in the second round, then that's a wasted pick. But history shows a lot of these guys do get in trouble again. They get in trouble. They get a nice contract. They go buy a big cat or whatever he's going to go buy, and they get in trouble. But I hope he's not that. And you have to do your true research on these guys to figure out have they cleaned up their act.
This is not going deep enough, but I talked to both of them at the Combine this year. Kim Diche doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why people are questioning him. Noah Spence, I made my mistakes. I understand. I'm focused. I'm getting better. This is my life's dream. Again, that's why I say I think one arrow is pointing up. One is going sideways at best.
And neither of those players figures to be of interest to the Bears at number 11 if that's where they stay. Both of those names will probably come afterwards on Thursday night or beyond.
Our old friend Tom Thibodeau met the media this afternoon in Minneapolis as he was officially introduced as the Timberwolves' new head coach and president of basketball operations. Now, there's no official count on how many times Tibbs said the Wolves had more than enough to win. But we do know the former Bulls head coach is anxious to do his 2 new jobs after a year sitting on the sidelines.
I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to be back. I'd like to begin by thanking Glenn for this unbelievable opportunity. The big thing for me with this job was the makeup of the roster. And I just loved the makeup of the roster. And that did not happen by accident. That was Flip's vision.
Well, Mark, it was a real bad second half for the L.A. Clippers last night in Portland. Not only did they lose the game and fall into a 2-2 series tie with the Blazers, Blake Griffin re-aggravated a quad injury that will sideline him the rest of the postseason. And there, Chris Paul breaks a bone in his right hand. He underwent surgery today. He is sidelined indefinitely. All that does is remove nearly 39 points per game from the Clippers lineup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Doc Rivers does with that roster this summer. NBA playoff action tonight in Toronto. Pacers and Raptors tied at 2 games apiece in round 1. Indiana led this game by 13 after 3 quarters, but then completely collapsed down the stretch. Terrible turnover there. The rookie Norman Powell with the steal and slam were tied at 92.
That's because of Drake.
Yeah, he was there. 2 minutes later, Kyle Lowry drives, finds his buddy DeMar DeRozan.
That's because of Drake.
DeRozan with a team-high 34. Under 3 seconds to go, Indiana needs a 3-ball to send the game to overtime. Paul George bobbles the ball, and Solomon Hill drains the 3, but hang on a second. Did it leave his fingertips before the red light goes on? The answer is no. Basket will not count. Raptors win 102-99. Pacers only scored 9 points in the 4th quarter. They now trail in that series 3-2.
Because of Drake. The Celtics and Hawks were also tied at 2 games apiece as that series picked up in Atlanta. 3rd quarter, the Hawks dominated Brad Stevens' team. Former Bull, Kyle Korver. What does he do well? He shoots the 3. He drains the triple. That makes it a 9-point game. Late in the quarter, Mike Scott, the former Astros right-hander, lines up and hits from distance. Scott had 17 on the night. They outscored Boston 42-23 in the third. Star of the fourth, Al Horford. A nice give and go to another former Bull. Thabo Sefolosha for the slam. This one all Atlanta, 110-83 to take a 3-2 series lead.
Yeah, the Celtic star Isaiah Thomas rolled his ankle in that game, so we don't know his status for the next one. Another big night for Chicago's first-place baseball team. We go inside the numbers with the White Sox and examine how the Cubs use a little bit of small ball to get another big victory at the friendly confines.
Oh, turned up my jam. I'm feeling woke. Oh, found our chill.
Close enough. Try the deliciously juicy Daily Double, now only $2.19 at McDonald's.
Honda believes in helping you use your garage to its fullest potential. That's why we're offering great deals on the things you'll want in your garage, like the Honda CR-V. The best-selling SUV in America comes with a standard multi-angle rear-view camera. And plenty of cargo space. Great for transporting lots of stuff, say to storage or the dump. Hurry to the Honda Dream Garage sales event. You've got a garage to fill. Time's running out on all the great deals. Don't miss the event. Now at your Honda dealer.
Hello, beautiful. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hi, Anthony. How much does my discount double check save me?
About $150.
Done.
I don't have State Farm, but insurance, find me money.
I got you $1. Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you with unexpected savings. That's getting to a better state.
4x for scenic routes that only you find scenic. For the great outdoors and the great indoors. For knowing boundaries are there to be crossed.
4x4 today, tomorrow, and never say
Jeep Cherokee. It's how we live 4x forever. Get 0% APR for 75 months or $2,500 combined cash allowance plus $500 bonus cash on 2016 Cherokee models.
It's the mesmerizing McGriddles. Try your choice of bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, or sausage, egg, and cheese with a small McCafe coffee and hash browns for just $4 at McDonald's.
Welcome to Wrigley Field.
Marietta's cruising along. Swing and a miss. And it is gone. We're tied.
Rizzo gets on the top. He makes a catch.
Got him. Call strike three. Jake Arrieta, a 20-game winner. Deep left, way back. It is gone. A 3-run homer. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win. How about this site today on Michigan Avenue? Danica Patrick taking her race car for a spin. Cap wanted to drive, but she said no.
Watch out for the people.
They're promoting
and the
a name change for the annual September Sprint Cup race. You probably guessed by now. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 400.
Wow.
And I'm guessing that all these guys are going to be on Danica's pit crew, including Chicagoland Speedway President Scott Paddock. He didn't have to dress up as a Ninja Turtle today.
I got you. Back now to our top story. Tonight's GMC professional grade player. Kudos going to Addison Russell, the shortstop, the only Cub with more than a hit tonight, but the biggest, his 6th inning, 2-run, 2-out triple, broke a 1-all tie, put the Northsiders ahead for good, and rode to the 4-3 win, raising their record to 15-5. Our Todd Hollingsworth crediting the small ball for carrying the Cubs to victory in the homestand opener.
The Baez stolen base ends up being the game-winning run. A lot of things went right. Created a few runs late. Listen, when cold conditions like you got at Wrigley Field tonight, you got to dig deep. You knew that the ball wasn't going to be jumping out of the yard, so you had to create some offense. Good to see the boys get going kind of after that day off. It always seems like they get going a little bit late, but just enough to hold on and get this win.
Breaking ball, strike 3. Sale gets rid of Batista on 3 pitches.
Yes, Chris Sale in total control at Rogers Center tonight against one of the AL's best lineups. He gave up just 1 run over 8 innings, struck out 6, but it was the offense that stole the show, especially the bottom of the White Sox order. Avi Garcia had a pair of hits, including a home run. Austin Jackson contributed a 2-run double, and Deoner Navarro also with a 2-run jack. Sox improved to 15-6 on the season after their 10-1 rout to the Blue Jays. And taking a closer look at the numbers, the Sox 7, 8, and 9 hitters combined to go 7 for 11, 2 homers, a double, 6 runs batted in. They also scored 6 times for Sale, who stayed perfect on the year at 5-0.
The plays of the day are presented by Lexus. Number 3, back to Wrigley Field. Javier Baez attempting to steal second. And initially gets ruled out. Looks like that to the naked eye, but the Cubs utility man protesting for a challenge immediately. Gets around the tag with his right arm and hand, and then gets his foot on the bag before the hand comes off. The call would, in fact, be overturned. Baez would later score what turned out to be the winning run in the 4-3 victory.
Yeah, big insurance run. Number 2, back to Toronto. Chris Sale, first batter of the game, and Sale gets some defensive help. Brett Lawrie dives on the ground, smothers the grounder by Michael Saunders, and gets him out at first. Sox extend their winning streak with the help of defensive plays like that from Brett Lawrie.
And number 1, Braves and Red Sox. Mookie Betts at the plate. Hits a fly ball to shallow right. Atlanta's Daniel Castro makes the over-the-shoulder sliding grab and doubles off the runner at first. Now, the ball actually bounces out of Castro's glove, and he makes a barehanded grab. The Red Sox won 11-4, and Atlanta is really having a tough season, but their consolation prize right there. He gets the play of the day.
Yeah, Atlanta's really bad. Finally tonight, Andrew McCutchen going off against the Rockies in Colorado, taking advantage of that mile-high air at Coors Field. He homered 3 times in the first 6 innings, drove in 5 runs. That's his second career 3-homer game, joining the likes of Ralph Kiner, Willie Stargell, and Roberto Clemente as the only Pirates with multiple 3-homer games. 9-4, the Pirates is the final. The funny thing about that story is Andrew McCutchen had 3 homers in the game. That's as many as the Atlanta Braves have all season long. We're not making that up. 3 home runs as a team.
But the Braves player did get the play of the day, so
he's got that going for him, which is nice. Well, our day starts very early tomorrow here on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll bring you live coverage of the Blackhawks' end-of-the-season media session at 11:30 a.m., so tune in. Thanks for watching Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC.
I'll be back at midnight with a final wrap-up of the show. Hope to see you then.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh? Yep, per second. How about that?
This is the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Or get nearly $8,300 total value on specially equipped 2016 Sierra Crew Cab SLT models. GMC, we are professional grade.
The average American has an anxiety-inducing $16,000 in credit card debt. Ready to lessen that stress? It's easy. Shop for a credit card at LendingTree and transfer that balance. Because available this week, get 0% interest for 15 months with no transfer or annual fees. Or 0% interest for 18 months with a 3% transfer fee. Pay it off faster, save a ton of money, and finally, relax. Find your perfect card in under a minute, right now. LendingTree. When banks compete, you
are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Call Adolescent Growth today and see how our proven treatment programs for eating disorders can begin to bring the sunshine back in the life of your teen and your family.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
It's a whole new ball game with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. It is magic. Experience the ultimate season ticket now at a new lower price.
Unbelievable.
Every punch-out, every rundown,
What a play.
and every walk-off, all at your fingertips. And with MLB.TV included, you can watch nearly 100 live games a week on over 400 supported devices. Don't miss a minute of the action. Follow your favorite team on any screen with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. Order now.
Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the DW crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Find us on social media right now for gorgeous photos and great Wisconsin giveaways. Speaking of free stuff, did you know every month we give away an exciting vacation? This month you can win a prize package to a few southern Mississippi river towns. Just visit discoverwisconsin.com for details. Saturday mornings at 10 on Comcast Sportsnet.
We now join the following program already in progress.
Taking down a pot of over 2.3 million chips. Rich Dixon, the MMA grappler, boxer, fighter. Don't mess with this guy. I'm telling you that right now, Robert. Don't mess with the guy. Blinds are 50,000, 100,000 with a 10K ante. I'm James Larson, alongside Robert Williamson III. Want to remind you to check out our webpage at hptpoker.com. Find an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. Once again, Rex looks down at pocket fours. They weren't good the first time.
I was going to say, that hand got him in trouble earlier. He says, nope, I'm not going to go for that twice.
Those baby pairs, they're just tough to play. And, going back to that hand, Brandon just set the trap and played it perfectly. Played him like a fiddle.
He sure did.
Rich is going to raise to 210,000 with his ace-9. And now Vic's going to make the call with ace-queen. Action over to Shep. Looks down at Trey Deuce. Things cooling off for him a little bit. So Shep's going to fold from the 1 seat.
I'll tell you what, these two keep getting tangled up. The two chip leaders. You don't usually see the chip leaders going after each other.
Rich and Vic fighting it out. Jack 5 Trey.
Rich's first act.
Not really anything for anybody there. Rich is going to check over to Vic. Now, we got to remind Vic that Rich is an MMA fighter, so don't tangle with him too much. Deuce of spades now on the turn. So now both players have a wheel draw, a gutter ball wheel draw at that, but we know 2 4s were already folded by Rex.
Well, a lot of times right here, the aggressor wins this kind of a pot.
The bet's 285,000 by Rich.
Wow, and Vic's making a tough call. That's pretty close to a hero call.
River card here, the 10 of hearts. We'll see if Rich slows down. And he can't slow down. He's got to keep this facade going, and he's reaching for chips. Why did Vic make that call?
Because he thinks ace-queen high is good, but if Rich does go through with this bet here, and he does, that's a really, really tough call for Vic. I don't think I make this call. I think I have to lay it down, even though we can see Vic has the best hand. This would be a tremendous hero call from Vic.
It'd be unbelievable. But he's probably thinking, the last hand I had 4s, that wasn't good. All I have right now is ace high. And he's going to fold. He's tired of leaking off chips. Even though he had the best of it, he just couldn't make the call.
I think it was on Vic's mind about that last hand where he dumped some chips off to Rich, didn't want to do it again, and couldn't make that hero call.
Time to step aside for a quick commercial break, but when we come back, more exciting final table action. You're watching the HPT.
Heartland Poker Tour is returning to Chicagoland this spring, and you don't want to miss it. The last tour stop at Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago saw one of the biggest turnouts in HPT history. This time around, the main event has the potential to be over $1 million. Take a shot at a monster payday on the felt when the series kicks off at the end of April. You could find yourself at the nationally televised final table for as little as $80. For all the information, check out hptpoker.com. St. Louis, your next shot at fame and fortune on the felt is right around the corner. Heartland Poker Tour is making its way back to the Gateway to the West this spring. You can get in on the action for as little as $50. Ameristar Casino Resort Spa will play host to the televised series. Hundreds of poker enthusiasts will take part in the event, all in hopes of taking home the cash, the bracelet, and the coveted HPT title. Play poker on national television when HPT comes to St. Charles, Missouri at Ameristar Casino Resort Spa.
If you had $1 for every dollar car insurance companies say they'll save you by switching, you'd have like a ton of dollars. But how are they saving you those dollars? A lot of companies might answer or no comment. Then there's Esurance. Born online, raised by technology, and majors in efficiency. So whatever they save, you save. Hassle, time, paperwork, hair tearing out, and yes, especially dollars. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
The city of Chicago emerged from the ashes, literally, and rose to greatness. And in those fires, a certain toughness, honesty, and work ethic was forged. A straightforward, what you see is what you get attitude. There's no pretense. There's no gray area. There's only black and white. It's time to take the field. It's time to play some ball. It's time to step up.
I'm not an archaeologist. I'm a cardiologist. Get to Schaumburg Ford and uncover the treasures of Ford.
April is Autism Awareness Month, and Schaumburg Ford is donating $100 for every car sold to Autism Speaks. Make a difference and shop Schaumburg Ford.
Better see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Ford, just west of the Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road, Schaumburg.
Welcome back to beautiful Blackhawk, Colorado. It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III broadcasting from the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. Robbie, how about those chip counts?
I'll tell you what, Rich has increased his chip lead. Still on top, but he's really grown his lead. Garrett and Vic in second and third now. They've switched places.
Blackhawk is Colorado's largest gambling town. 18 casinos up here in the mountain. There's action 24/7.
Gotta love it.
So many friends here. We've been coming here for so many years. I still remember the first event I did here, and they've been great. And we built this thing, you know, from the ground up, and it's just been an awesome, awesome event. Thank you to everybody here at the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. Action now, folded around to the one seat of Shepsky. He looks down at 8-7. Now over to the two seat of Brandon. Looks down at not 2-4s, but King 4 this time. He's going to fold to Rex. We go Ace-Jack.
I think we'll see him get involved in this pot.
Wants to say hello to his girlfriend. She travels with him and supports him as he grinds across the country. He's got Alan Kessler in the crowd.
Yep, Ting Ho is her name, and she's quite a fun player too, James.
You know, this guy Rex won the Colorado State Poker Championship a few years ago, and he got 11th place on the HPT back in 2007. We see him a lot at tournaments. He's quite the grinder. Action now over to Rich Dixon. He looks down at the Sammy Hagar pocket fives. Seen a lot of low pairs. Seen 4s of 5s.
Yeah, anything under a pair of 6s, James, I'm real cautious to play because you never know. You might flop a set and have the worst set, and there's hardly any good flops for those hands.
And I've noticed we've seen better play here on the HPT, and we see a lot of players just mucking these smaller pairs, especially after a raise or a 3-bet, and that's the right thing to do. Speaking of 3-bets, Nick is all in now with his ace-deuce.
Yeah, I don't think if I'm Nick in that spot, I'm going to commit the rest of my chips. I don't like that.
So Rich gets out of the way, but Rex is going to make the call. It's ace-deuce going up against ace-jack, and Rex has got Nick dominated. We go to the flop. It's 10-6-4. It's a rainbow.
Well, not a good flop for Nick, but he does have some runner outs.
If his hand doesn't improve, he's going to be eliminated going out in 8th place. We go now to the turn card. And look at that, it's the 5 of clubs. And look at Rich, he puts his hands in the air. Remember what he had? He had pocket 5s.
Yeah, and that also gives Nick now a 3 or a 2 to win this pot.
Or a 3.
All right, we go to the river card. A pot of 2.6 million chips.
2-1 time.
And that river card is the 9 of spades, so that is going to do it for Nick. A nice little payday, though, for him here on the HPT. He's going to go home with $24,695. Not too shabby, my friend. Blinds are $50,000, $100,000 with a $10K ante. It's James and Robert broadcasting from the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor right here in Blackhawk, Colorado. Look at this. Once again, action cards for the 2-seat of Brandon.
He saw jacks earlier and got a clear double up. Let's see if he does it again.
I've seen him with jacks. I've seen him with 4s. I've seen him with jacks. He's going to raise to $225,000 over to Rex. Now looks down at King Trey. He's going to get out of the way. To the MMA fighter now. And Rich, he's going to fold. Fold it around now to the 1 seat of Shep. And look at Shep, picked up pocket 10s.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Shep to get away from that. Especially he's already in the big blind for part of the bet.
So jacks versus 10s, it's Brandon and Shep. We go to the flop. And the flop, an ace and 2 7s.
Well, the good news for Shep is with this overcard out there, hopefully it won't cost him quite as much as sometimes it would.
Shep has a 34th and an 8th here on the HPT.
Wow. Shep decides to lead at this.
165,000. Brandon thinking, how can I get all of those chips over to my stack?
That's a really tough spot for Brandon here with Shep leading at this pot.
This is Brandon's biggest score. He told me he did have 4 buy-ins, but Robert, he's going to take care of those real quick here on this final table.
Well, Brandon does make the call.
And now an interesting card here on the turn, the Ace of Diamonds.
Well, that's actually a really good card for Brandon's hand, but it also feels like a safe card for Shep's hand. You know, every time another ace hits the board, it's less chance your opponent has one in his hand.
The bet's $150,000, and Robbie, what's Brandon to do in this situation?
Well, it feels like Shep is value betting this. I think I still have to pay it off, though. There's a million chips in the pot already.
All right, Brandon makes the call, $150,000 in the cost. Still heads up.
All right, so Brandon is going to make the call. A pot of 1.2 million chips. Now we go to the river. The useless 3 of hearts, nothing changed, and now Shep's going to slow down. He checks over to Brandon.
I think if I'm Brandon here, I'm thinking, you know I might can squeeze a little value out of this, but I might not have the best hand. I think I would have showed my hand down just like Brandon did.
It goes check, check. The winner of the hand is Brandon Miller, the 26-year-old from Palm Bay, Florida.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Heartland Poker Tour after this.
HPT is teaming up with Card Player Cruises for a week of poker action on the high seas in early 2016. Join us for this Western Caribbean cruise on one of the largest ships in the world, Oasis of the Seas. Board the ship in Fort Lauderdale and play poker nightly between stops at beaches in Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico. For all the information, visit our webpage at hptpoker.com.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
What happened? I'm gonna kill a man and kill my son.
The Revenant is nominated for 12 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor Leonardo DiCaprio, Best Supporting Actor Tom Hardy.
God giveth, God taketh away.
The Revenant. Movies start at Channel 125.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Call Adolescent Growth today and see how our proven treatment programs for eating disorders can begin to bring the sunshine back in the life of your teen and your family.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
This is important news for diabetics who have been injured by Invokana or similar diabetes medications. If you or a loved one took Invokana or another of these diabetes medications and then developed one of these medical conditions, call the offices of Davis & Crump and see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free and confidential. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
Welcome back to the HBT. I'm James Larson, joined by Robert Williamson III. 7 players remain here at the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. Up top, we got Rich. At the bottom, Danny Gonzalez. What's he got to do to get back in this thing?
Danny has been cold as ice. He hasn't been able to play a hand because he hasn't caught any hands. But if he stays patient and vigilant, when he does get a hand, he might get a good payday.
This is Danny G's third final table. We know he's a fighter. He won't give up, and he knows how to play the short stack. The next person eliminated will go home with $29,570. Your winner tonight, $227,864. 721 entries and a prize pool of over $1 million for the 9th time right here in Blackhawk, Colorado. I remember coming here years ago. The big bet out here used to be $5. $5 was the big bet. We got that raised up to $100. Makes it a little easier to grind out here in the mountains now, but I still remember going to a table and making a $5 bet. That was the max.
I remember back in those days, too.
Action now is folded around to Rex. He looks down at Ace-Jack.
230.
And he's going to raise it up to $230,000. Rex probably has the most tournament experience of anybody here at this final table.
He is one fine player. Unfortunately, I've had to play against him before.
And he's a nice guy, too. We had dinner with him over there in East Chicago a few weeks ago, and it was great to see him and his girlfriend. Action now over to Rich Dixon from Cheyenne, Wyoming. $80,000 in lifetime earnings.
All right.
And he's going to go ahead and make the call here. He's going to defend his big blind with Jack 7. He asked if he's allowed to check dark, Robbie. Do you know the rule on that?
Well, he's out of position. Can't check until Rex checks first.
Flop comes out 6-4 deuce. Action will be on Rex.
And flop doesn't figure to fit either one of the hands, but it was a little closer to Rich than it was Rex's.
A whole lot of nothing there with that 6-4 deuce flop. And Rex is going to go ahead and make a bet of $180,000. Rex is 32 years old, got 15th place at our event in Reno.
Why do I believe you?
His plans for the cash, he's going to save the money. You don't hear that a lot from poker players. He's going to put it in the savings account. What's a savings account?
I'm not for sure. I've heard of them before, but...
Well, Rich is going to make this call. It's kind of a curious play by Rich. Turn card now is the 4 of spades.
I think Rich is purely floating here, hoping to take it away from Rex on the turn or the river.
Action on Rex. We'll see if he continues to fire. And now he's going to check. Rich kind of gives a confusing look. Like, what do you mean check?
Don't know what to do now? Yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
Confused?
Yes. I usually make bad decisions when I'm confused, too.
Well, Rich, you don't want to make a bad decision here at this final table.
Thinking.
Rich told us he's got a great reading ability from playing cash for so many years. So it goes check, check. We go to the river card now, and this time it's the deuce of diamonds. So Rex has got to like that card.
He sure does. 2 pair with an ace kicker.
And Rex is going to check over to Rich.
Yeah, I think he's checking with the intentions of check calling.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a pretty big bet here by Rich for Rex to go away. And Rich said it to his opponent. He's a little confused. 440,000.
440.
Well, that might be a big enough bet.
I don't have the best hand.
Yeah.
Action is back to Rex in the 3 seat. 440 is our total bet.
Is it good to be talking as much as Rich is doing right now, Robert?
I think if Rich would have bet the turn, he'd be taking his pot down right now, but it just looks suspicious, this bet here on the river.
And of all players to get tangled up with, I just talked about all the experience that Rex has. Not the guy you really want to tangle with in this situation. But the bet was $440,000.
What do you got? You can ask, I just can't answer. Oh, so I'm allowed to ask.
Oh, and Rich looks real comfortable.
Rules.
It's a tough call for Rex.
It really is. I just think that he's going to sniff this out finally and make this call.
I really do too. I think you're right, Robert.
Call.
He's going to make the call, and a great call at that.
Rich shows.
He says, nice hand. Rich shows his hand.
Rex shows 2 pair.
Rex kind of let out a little bit of a relief sigh there.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those.
Yeah, and it ended up being a pretty decent sized pot, almost 1.8 million chips. And again, you talk about experience. Rex has it. This guy's grinded a lot of big tournaments, and he's been down this road before.
Making it look interesting.
But you know, Rich, for being the MMA guy, the boxer, he seems like a real sweetheart at the table.
Well, he summarized his feelings. He said when he's confused, he makes bad decisions, and I think by checking that turn and then deciding to bet the river, those were 2 bad decisions by Rich. Well, this time Shep looks down to see the HPT special.
The old King Queen. It's going to raise up to $260,000. You have to play that hand on the HPT. It's unmuckable. You have to raise with it. You have to play it every time.
Some people play the King Queen like it's aces.
They play it like aces. We see that a lot here on the HPT. Over to Rich now. Looks down at a great blackjack hand, the 9 deuce.
In the small blind.
Now to Danny Gonzalez. Look at this guy. Oh, man.
No wonder
Aces.
he looks so serious.
I love watching him at the poker table. And he says all in. Fold it around to Shep now, and Shep is going to make the call.
An insta-call with King-Queen off. I think I'm going to take it a little bit more time to think that through, James.
It's the HPT special. You play it like aces. What are you talking about?
Well, this time he ran it right into it.
Danny loves this. We go to the flop now. Shep trying to catch up. One Broadway card. The Jack of Diamonds comes out. Jack 7-5. 2 spades.
6 of hearts is good.
Shep needs some runner help here on the turn.
Shep needs a whole lot of help. We go to the turn card. It's another spade. This time the 10 of spades.
We got out, baby. We got out. It's all right.
Straight draw.
Not flush.
The blocker with the ace of spades.
He says he's got outs, baby, because he's got the ace of spades. Now Shep needs an ace or a 9 that's not a spade.
Never easy for Danny.
Jack of clubs on the river and a big double up for Danny G.
He remained patient, woke up with aces, and got a payday.
When we come back from this commercial break, 7 players remain. They're all chasing the title, and up top, almost $228,000 in cash. We'll be right back. Heartland Poker Tour is returning to Chicagoland this spring, and you don't want to miss it. The last tour stop at Ameristar Casino Hotel East Chicago saw one of the biggest turnouts in HPT history. This time around, the main event has the potential to be over $1 million. Take a shot at a monster payday on the felt when the series kicks off at the end of April. You can find yourself at the nationally televised final table for as little as $80. For all the information, check out hptpoker.com.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, this may be the most important phone call you'll ever make.
I owed $87,000 in taxes. But listen.
Your tax problem is settled. You only owe $3,500.
What a great message.
I owed $11,000 on my taxes. But now...
Congratulations. You only owe $2,068.
How's that sound?
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number or go to tax10000.com. Even if you are already at the point where you're struggling with levies and garnishments, let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement.
We owed the IRS $48,000.
But check out what we actually paid.
Are you sitting down? You only owe $3,571.
Call 800-634-8375 or go to tax10000.com. That's 800-634-8375.
St. Louis, your next shot at fame and fortune on the felt is right around the corner. Heartland Poker Tour is making its way back to the Gateway to the West this spring. You can get in on the action for as little as $50. Ameristar Casino Resort Spa will play host to the televised series. Hundreds of poker enthusiasts will take part in the event, all in hopes of taking home the cash, the bracelet, and the coveted HPT title. Play poker on national television when HPT comes to St. Charles, Missouri at Ameristar Casino Resort Spa.
Welcome back to the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. I'm James Larson, joined by Robert Williamson III. And Robbie, let's take a look at those chip counts.
Rich is still up top, but he's managed to leak off some chips to Rex. And now Rich and Rex are neck and neck atop this chip leaderboard.
Blackhawk, Colorado, a gambling destination since 1991. There's 18 casinos up here in the mountain and a whole lot of action. And Robert, it's just a beautiful backdrop here in Blackhawk, Colorado with the mountains and the cool, crisp air. Action over to Rex now on the button.
It looks very serious.
Rex got here via Alan Kessler, his buddy. Alan's sitting in the front row cheering him on. Now Rex is going to raise it up to $270,000. A button raise, I guess, here with 5 tray of hearts. Over to the small blind now. That's Rich.
And Rich has got an ace-4. Definitely a defendable small blind hand.
Rich back in 2007 placed 11th here on the HPT at Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. You know, we always see the same faces out here. Always. We have all our regulars that play, the locals, and then, of course, the people that travel. You know, with 721 entries, we had people from all over the country and the world, for that matter.
270 is our total bet.
So now a call is made by Rich. He really thought about that one a long time, Robert.
Well, we're seeing the chip leaders really get tangled up a lot here tonight, James. That's sometimes that's a very combustible combination.
Danny's not going to defend his big blind, so it's the button and the small, and the flop comes out 2 trays and a 9, couple of clubs.
I'll tell you what, Rich flops the nut flush draw, but Rex flops 3 threes, and it's going to be really hard for Rich to put Rex on this hand.
Yeah, huge flop here for Rex. Look at that, 3 threes. Rich is going to check over to Rex.
Rex is going to bet.
And a bet of $140,000.
Baffled. 140,000 is the bet.
Don't know what to do now.
Action's back to Rich on the.
Boy, Rich really talks a lot to Rex.
Every hand.
I know.
And Rich is going nowhere, by the way. He has no plans to go anywhere.
I think he's just trying to decide whether to flat or to raise.
We'll find out.
He's going to go ahead and make the call. No raise. Big streak coming up, Robbie. Will it be a club? Will it be another 3? Will it be a 9? Will it be a 5? It's a 9. Wow. The 9 of hearts, just like that. A full house for Rex.
That should slow Rex down a little bit now because Rich easily could have been on a 9.
Ace of spades on the river. Even though that hit Rich's hand, he can't like this too much, Robbie.
I'll tell you what, Rex has got to go to Value Town now. It feels like his hand's the best hand.
It's a check now over to Rex. See how much he decides to bet. That's a perfect size bet. $325,000.
$325,000.
Here we go. Rich is going to go through the question and answer portion of the test.
Yeah.
So far, Rex is getting the best of Rich here at this nationally televised final table, Robbie.
Yeah, I think he's kind of manipulating him with the talking part as well.
I like the bet. It's a perfect value bet. Rich has to make the call. There's only $325,000, but that's $325,000 more chips that Rex is going to put in his pile. So we're seeing some good poker here tonight at the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. Blinds are up to 60,000, 120,000 with a 15K ante. We started with 720 entries.
250's a bet.
Garrett's going to raise it to $250,000 with pocket 10. Seen a lot of pocket pairs at tonight's final table.
10s in particular. I think it's the third time we've seen pocket 10s tonight.
Seen 4s. We've seen jacks a lot. Saw aces a couple of times. Saw kings.
Queens.
Saw queens. We saw queens run into kings. First hand of the night. Fold it around to Rex. Boy, Rex is getting a lot of TV time tonight. Looks on at Queen 10. He's got the risky business sunglasses on.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies, James.
Don't they have to be in a separate stack?
It looks like Rex is asking how many chips his opponent has behind him before he decides what he's going to do in this hand.
Call.
And Rex is going to make the call. $250,000. Action now over to Rich on the button. And he's got pocket deuces, Robbie.
I usually say deuces seldom loses, but here, I don't think I would play that hand.
And Rich is reaching for chips. He is on the button. He does have a pair. And he is going to make the call. Danny Gonzalez quickly gets out of the way.
In the 8 seat.
Now over to Vic. Haven't really heard from Vic much lately. He's going to fold.
And Vic folds as well.
Yeah, sometimes when you're card dead, it's really tough to keep folding, but that's what you got to do.
We go to the flop. It's 6, tray.
Oh, looks like a good flop for Garrett's hand.
He's going to reach for chips. 10s and trays for Garrett. He's going to make a bet of $500,000.
$500,000.
My bet's a little less than half the pot. It's a strong bet. That should keep his opponents to the minimum.
I'm a little confused by Garrett's player profile. He put his occupation skier and his age 69. I don't think he's 69, Robbie.
I don't think so either.
All right, so a fold now by Rex. Action over to Rich now. Just with those pocket deuces, they're getting smaller and smaller each street, I have a feeling.
Well, this is the danger, once again, of playing small pairs, James. You don't know where you're at.
But Rich really takes his time. I don't have a problem with it, but this guy likes to take his time on every decision. He's going to fold his hand. The winner of the hand is Garrett. So back to this guy's player profile. His name is actually Don Patrick. We call him Garrett. He's kind of a man of mystery, and I don't believe he's 69 years old.
Or do you think he's a professional skier?
He could be. He looks like a professional skier, 100%. Action's on Vic. Vic has not said a word at this final table. He's got his sunglasses on and his Bass Pro Shop hat.
Huh? 9 board. Wow.
And Vic is going to go ahead and make a raise here. He's got Big Slick, Ace King, going to raise up to $275,000. And now the man of mystery comes in. Garrett with my favorite hand, pocket 9s.
Wow. 9 satellites, 4 balls.
Action on Shep in the 1 seat. Shep's going to get out of the way. And now Brandon with pocket 4s again. How is it possible?
Man, those don't they have to muck those between hands?
Yeah, is he holding on to these 4s? Is that what it is, Robbie? Pocket 4s again, another baby pair. Baby pairs haven't been real successful here at the final table tonight.
And Brandon's going to make the call.
And Brandon's going to make the call. Action over to Rex now. Looks down at Trey Deuce.
Oh, I call that little slick.
And now we move over to Rich. And while he decides, I'm going to go ahead and get a cup of coffee, maybe a Danish. He likes to take his time. Nothing wrong with that, though, Robbie. We have more time than money here on the HBT. At least I do. The prize pool, that's another story. $227,864 will be your first place champion. Nice payday here in the mountains of Black Hawk, Colorado. Rich is going to make the call. So 4 players going to the flop. Garrett with the best of it right now with his pocket nines.
Rich decided to defend his big blind.
You're looking for a 2 in your hand. You're not calling right.
Players are loosening up, talking a little bit. The flop, look at that. Jack 10-9.
Well, 3 nines for Garrett, but I'll tell you what, it's still kind of one of those dangerous flops. It's 3 cards to a straight right out there in a row.
A lot of coordination out there. Rich is going to check over to Vic. And Vic with the continuation bet here.
I think if I were Vic, I would not have continuation bet this flop. That's just a real dangerous flop. It seems like it has to fit your opponent's hands.
Vic's going to bet $675,000 over to Garrett, who flopped a set.
Garrett's got to play this fast and aggressive.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Robbie. It's got to be fast, and it's got to be fast right now.
There's too many dangerous turn cards.
And you've got 3 other players in the pot. So Garrett's all in. Brandon's going to fold. Action over to Rich. Rich is going to fold, so we go back to Vic.
In the 8 seat, Garrett in the 9 seat is all in.
Vic's going to fold. Garrett's going to win the hand, and he's on a little bit of a heater, my friend.
The man of mystery has mysteriously put together quite a little rush.
It's been a great week out here in Black Hawk, Colorado. I want to thank the entire staff at the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. And Robbie, I want to thank all of our players, too. Over 700 entries, making this our 9th $1 million prize pool in a row right here at the Golden Gates Casino. When we get back from this quick commercial break, we'll have more exciting final table action. You're watching the HBT.
For true Chicagoans, the White Sox are a part of our DNA. From Hyde Park to Park Ridge, we wear our hearts on our pinstripe jersey sleeves. From 79th through Bridgeport, from Bronzeville to Naperville, we're loyal to the team through thick and thin. We come from all walks of life and neighborhoods, but remain united by what takes place at 35th and Shields. We take pride in our city, and we take pride in the game.
Welcome back to the HPT. We broadcast from the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor right here, Black Hawk, Colorado. I'm James Larson, joined by the pride of Texas, Mr. Robert Williamson III.
And looky here, James. Rex is our new chip leader now. Garrett real close behind, and Rich, even though he's in third, has continued his slide.
Action continues. Blind 60,000, 120,000 with a 15K ante. Action on the 1 seat of Shep. Looks down at King 5. A Reggie King 5. He folds over to Brandon. No pocket fours this time. Looks down at 5 trade. He folds. Our chip leader now. Rex with a King 7. Now over to Rich. Looks down at Jack 4. We're just going to chill for a little bit. Rich on the decision. Reaching for chips, though. So he's going to go ahead and raise it now to 270,000. Vic's going to fold.
I have to give Rich credit. He's really mixed it up tonight, but unfortunately, I don't think it's worked out for him too good.
Now to the 9 seat in the big blind. It's Garrett. He's from Snowmass, Colorado. So he tells us. Allegedly, right. The man of mystery. I wonder what's underneath that hat. This whole thing could be a disguise, Robert. He's going to make the call. So we go heads up to the flop, Rich and Garrett. And the flop is King 9 trade. 9s have been good to Garrett here as of late. He's going to check over to Rich.
Garrett flops middle pair. Rich flops no help at all.
Rich was going to take a nap there. He had his head on his arm. He's going to bet $335,000. Representing a king here, I guess. Garrett, pretty be a tough call. He's got middle pair. He's going to make the call.
Who's the sheriff?
And Garrett's going to make the call.
Rich asked Garrett, who's the sheriff? Is there a new sheriff in town?
Turn card now, the Jack of Diamonds.
Ooh, and that one actually is a very good card for Rich. Gives him second pair over Garrett's pair of 9s.
Garrett's going to check, and now a bet of $500,000 chips. Should be enough to get Garrett out of the way.
By Rich, 500,000.
And
And it does. Rich is going to win the final hand of the night. And Robbie, we saw a lot of great poker right here on this show.
You sure did. And Rich made a nice little recovery there at the end. After having kind of a sliding day, the story to tell, though, is Rex. Rex has been running good and playing good.
Be sure to tune in next week as we wrap up our episode here from the Golden Gates Casino and Poker Parlor. Our champion will go home with the bracelet and, most importantly, almost $228,000 in cash. Now, if you're watching this and you want in on some of this cash and the poker glory, why not give it a shot? Log on to our website at www.hptpoker.com, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. For my partner, Robert Williamson III, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.
Oh, I can wait you out, but I'll take you down. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack on cry to your mama, 'cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Give your floors a new look with Menard's super selection of vinyl flooring. It's inexpensive and easy to install. Logic sheet vinyl in 2 colors is 79 cents a square foot. Stonegate in 3 colors is 99 cents a square foot. Make hardwood floors beautiful with Minwax polyurethane on sale now, including new complete one-step floor finish with stain and polyurethane in one. Save $7 a gallon after rebate. Add beauty with savings from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Even the toughest spills are no match for the ultimate vehicle protection. Custom fit WeatherTech floor liners. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech, proudly made in America.
When you paint with Frog Tape, something magical happens. Because Frog Tape is the only painting tape with patented paint block technology to give you the cleanest, sharpest lines possible. The patented paint block reacts with water and latex paint to form a microbarrier against paint bleed. Frog Tape Delicate even works on freshly painted surfaces, giving you maximum creative flexibility. For professional results when you paint, there's only one name to know. Frog Tape. Keeps paint out, keeps lines sharp.
Hi, I'm Todd Frazier, and you're watching the Home for White Sox Baseball, CSN Chicago.
Some big ball maybe. That's going to split the alley. 2 runs are going to score.
Addison Russell comes through in the clutch in the series opener. Hi, everyone. Welcome in to Sportsnet Central, presented by CLR. I'm Chris Bowden. Before being honored for his no-hitter last week, Jake Arrieta sounds off on skeptics.
I've always been in good shape. I just sucked early in my career.
Chris Sale continues to impress even his teammates.
It's actually a lot easier to face him than to catch him. I can say that.
After an early playoff exit,
it's just a disappointing, weird feeling, you know.
A long summer could be crucial to another Stanley Cup run. Come out of your shell. Let's hit the gas on Sportsnet Central right now.
To Sportsnet Central, presented by CLR.
Here comes the 2-2. In the air, this should do it. Jason Hayward makes a catch. It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again.
The Cubs honored Jake Arrieta prior to the homestand opener against the Brewers after throwing his second no-hitter in as many seasons last week. But as he prepared for Wednesday's bid for a second straight no-hitter, He also addressed whispers by some fans and even some opposing players, apparently, that this remarkable career turnaround might be because of performance enhancers.
I think it's flattering to hear mentions of that. You know, my teammates and personally myself, I know I've never taken any shortcuts, and I don't ever intend to. I think it's funny because I've always been in good shape. I just sucked early in my career from a statistical perspective. So my body's always been very similar to how it is now. So it's just the numbers, the results are different. So, you know, people want to question things, and that's just kind of the nature of sports.
Cubs hosting their neighbors to the north, who brought the wind with them as it howls in over the center field scoreboard. It's about layering on a blustery night like that. 1-1 game in the 6th inning. Chris Bryant leads off. With a chopper to third, Aaron Hill has some issues with it. Bryant reaching on the air. And then later in the inning, with 2 on and 2 outs, Addison Russell digs in.
Ball night since we started. And now some big ball maybe. That's going to split the alley. 2 runs are going to score. How about a triple?
A piercing line drive is the answer on a night like tonight, and Russell delivers.
The Cubs take the 3-1 lead on the big 2-out knock there by their shortstop, Addison Russell. And known for neck for getting those big hits. More offense by a small ball an inning later. Javi Baez led off with a single. Off to steal second. The throw beats him. He's called out. Right away, Baez wants a review. Rightly so. He gets his right arm around the attempted tag, then gets his foot on the bag. When the hand comes off it, the call overturned. It would turn into a crucial play because later in the inning with 2 outs, Anthony Rizzo singles to right to bring home Baez. And the Cubs extend the lead to 4-1. Pedro Strop came on to pitch the 8th, and he'd walk a couple. Then the red-hot Ryan Braun. Up to pitch hit. The first offering he takes into the right field corner, allowing both runners to come in and score. And all of a sudden, that Cubs lead cuts to 4-3. Hector Rondon called on in the 9th to close it out. 2 outs, but Hill is the go-ahead run at the plate. And he sends one pretty deep to left. Can that wind keep it in the park? Bryant's underneath it and squeezes it. The Cubs brave the cold, the wind, and the lowly Brewers. 4-3 the final. Kelly Crow was at Wrigley Field with our Coors Light game report.
The chilly temps didn't seem to bother Addison Russell Tuesday night as he put the Cubs in front with a 2-run triple in the 7th and now has 10 RBI in his last 12 games.
Well, it's fun, you know. I mean, I think the worst you can do is just strike out in that situation. You know, you just give it your all, and the outcome is, it is what it is, you know. So just kind of embrace it a little bit.
He's not shy. You know, he's okay with all. He's shy, but he's not shy. You know, he's not afraid of that moment. He hits that gap in big moments, too, the right central gap.
With runs at a premium on a frigid April evening, Joe Madden elected to pinch hit for Kyle Hendricks, which ultimately resulted in the Cubs' first run. A good move by the skipper, and one that his starting pitcher understood, even though he had only thrown just 69 pitches.
I completely understand. I mean, I prepare myself to go deep into games, but sometimes situations happen like that, and, you know, it's a team game, so I know just hand it off to the next guy in line, and it worked, and they got the job done.
A lot of guys would have been crying. A lot of guys, why me? He did not do that for 1 second. He understood the situation completely, and I'm here to tell you that doesn't happen every time.
Jake Arrieta is back on the mound on Wednesday for the first time since throwing his 2nd career no-hitter last week in Cincinnati. And that's a good thing for the Cubs, who have won Arrieta's last 17 starts. And the ace looks to close out his April a perfect 5-0. Reporting on the Cubs here from Wrigley Field, I'm Kelly Crawl for Comcast Sportsnet.
Kelly, thank you. After injuring his thumb in spring training on a slide into first base, a head-first one, Baez has turned that thing into a Cubs win. Javi's creative base running in the 7th, avoiding the tag from Jonathan Villar by pulling his left hand back, turned into the Cubs' 4th run. And as Todd Hollandsworth explains, it's just what the Cubs needed on that night.
The Baez stolen base ends up being the game-winning run. A lot of things went right. Created a few runs late. Listen, when cold conditions like you got at Wrigley Field tonight, you got to dig deep. You knew that the ball wasn't going to be jumping out of the yard, so you had to create some offense. Good to see the boys get going kind of after that day off. It always seems like they get going a little bit late, but just enough to hold on and get this win.
Chris Sale's streaking just like the entire White Sox team, looking to make it 5 wins and as many starts. That after allowing just 1 unearned run over his last 2. And the lanky lefty had faced 74 straight batters without giving up a walk. The longest streak in the majors. That streak would end at 76 in the first inning. His night actually started with some help from his D. Grounded to second, Brett Lawrie. The diving stop to throw out leadoff man Michael Saunders. Top of the third, still scoreless, when the struggling Avisail Garcia gets a hold of one.
Garcia puts a charge into it. Left center field. This ball is up and out of here. Back onto the field of play. Avi Garcia gives the Sox the lead.
That's his 3rd of the season. 1-0 against knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. We jump ahead to the 5th after the Sox loaded the bases with nobody out. Austin Jackson at the plate splits the gap into right center. That brings home a pair. Jackson in with a double, and it's a 3-0 game. They would later tack on another that inning, so 4-0 Sox after 5, and that's more than enough support for Sale. He was on cruise control all game. He had only 4 strikeouts, but he allowed just 1 hit through the first 6 innings of work. And the Sox tack on a couple more in the 7th. When Dioner Navarro takes Dickey deep to right, the 2-run shot, Navarro's 2nd homer of the year. And bottom of the 8th, Sale still in control, facing Josh Tolle here, and he strikes him out with the high heat. Then another Josh, Donaldson, grounds out to end the inning. Sale's night as well. 8 innings of 4-hit 1-run ball with 6 punch-outs. His teammates tacked on 3 more in the 9th en route to the Southsiders' 5th straight win and their 7th in their last 8. 10 won the final. And in helping his team improve to 15-6, Sale's Cy Young campaign can now officially begin. Just the 5th time a White Sox starter has won 5 games without a loss before the calendar turned to May. Esteban Loaiza was the last to do it back in 2003. Before that, it was done 3 straight years by Wilson Alvarez and Jack McDowell. After the game, Navarro talked about catching Sale.
Unbelievable, man. This guy is a warrior. Everything he throws moves. It's actually a lot easier to face him than to catch him. I can say that. It was amazing, man. We've been playing great baseball together. We're doing our thing, and, you know, our pitching staff is being outstanding throughout the whole year, and we just continue to put runs in the board, and they keep doing their job.
That's Jose Quintana's turn later on today. He'll take the bump looking to lead the White Sox to a 3-game sweep on Comcast Sportsnet. It's a 6 o'clock start with Jason Benetti and Steve Stone on the call. Stick around after the final out when CSN Chicago.com's Dan Hayes joins Chuck Garfien and Bill Melton on White Sox Postgame Live. That's a very unfamiliar feeling for the no longer defending Stanley Cup champs. Pat Boyle helps explain why the Blackhawks will be watching the rest of the postseason and how they can hoist the cup again. It's a case of good news and bad news for Bears safety Adrian Amos. Plus, we'll ask some experts if the Bears should roll the dice on a pair of high-risk prospects in this weekend's draft.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Advance Auto, Target, Home Depot, Walgreens, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
This rusty mess isn't going anywhere. Don't trust it to just any cleaner. Trust CLR. CLR makes quick work of the toughest jobs, dissolving crusty white buildup so your shower runs like new. CLR cuts through hard water buildup and helps keep your washer running clean. CLR also earned the EPA's Safer Choice seal, so it's safer for your family. Trust the power of the CLR family and trust your clean to CLR. CLR is available at these fine retailers.
Nice car. Not so nice scratch. Wouldn't it be nice if removing ugly scratches from your car was this easy? Now with New Finish Scratch Doctor, removing surface scratches is easy. In fact, independent laboratory tests have proven Scratch Doctor to be the best scratch remover available. Scratch Doctor with advanced microtechnology also removes paint scrapes, scuffs, haze, and swirl marks. So get Scratch Doctor.
#1 rated Scratch Doctor, available at O'Reilly Auto, Home Depot, Pep Boys, Target, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
Tonight, the Sox step up to the plate and look to lift off in their series finale with the Blue Jays. Join Jason and Stoney for the call and watch every pitch without leaving your couch. Starting at 6 on CSN.
Visit CSNChicago.com for great deals on your favorite team's merchandise. From jerseys and hats to customized shirts and more, get the latest trends for the Bears, Blackhawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox at the shop on CSNChicago.com.
Off the board, Stasny centered it. Open net, Brower, and he hit the post and he scored. Troy Brower only had one assist in the series. That's a huge goal, his first, and the Blues in front.
It was a guy who once celebrated winning a Stanley Cup as a Blackhawk who scored the goal that prevented them from winning another this year. And with it, Troy Brower also helped the Blues get the first-round gorilla off their back. We'll have a better idea later today just how banged up the defending champs were when they meet the media for a final time before a rare long summer. And as Pat Boyle tells us, they're starting to experience rivals in hockey's toughest division starting to catch up with them.
You know, I think right now it just doesn't really feel right.
No, it doesn't, Patrick. Survive in advance. We've seen the Hawks do it time and again the past 7 seasons, getting the big goal at the most critical time. But there's a fine line in hockey, and the Hawks danced across it in the 3rd period in Game 7, but never crossed it.
We just missed the poke, too. We had a sniff there. It looked like a minor, I don't know. We didn't get the positive feedback from the headset, so it was close.
The Indian head may be on the front of the sweater, but a bullseye has been on the back for a while. That's part of the territory when you approach dynasty status. And with the rest of the Central Division focusing on how to beat the Blackhawks and the NHL playoff format putting rivalry over regular season points, a first-round matchup could end up feeling like the final step to the Stanley Cup Finals.
We've had some first rounds that felt like a conference finals. And that's the division we're in, the conference we're in. This is the best in the game, and you know you got to win 4 series against tough teams and tough opponents. And we had the toughest matchup you could face in the first round, and that's the draw. And we didn't get it done.
We've seen it before in Chicago when you finally get past your rival, whether it was the Bulls saying goodbye to the Bad Boys, the Hawks leaping the Red Wings, and the Cubs sending the Cardinals home. And now, the Blues finally knocking off the defending champs, a feeling that Kane and the Hawks aren't used to.
They're a good hockey team. I mean, it's I know they were looking for it for a long time to break through and get past the first round. So, you know, I mean, we were kind of worried about what we were going to do in here, and no matter who we were playing, we thought we had a good chance to win. So, it's just a disappointing, weird feeling right now.
With the Blackhawks, Pat Boyle, Comcast Sportsnet.
Pat, thanks, and we'll carry Stan Bowman's season-ending press conference live at 11:30 this morning here on Comcast Sportsnet. He'll undoubtedly be asked about his free agents and tight salary cap situation, especially as it relates to restricted free agents Andrew Shaw and Richard Panik. Unrestricted free agents Andrew Ladd, Thomas Fleischman, and Dale Weiss, all picked up before the trade deadline, are expected to get bigger deals elsewhere.
If I said to you, tell me the team you think is in love with you, would you be able to tell me? Like, truly fallen in love with you. Do you have one of those teams?
I think Chicago Bears.
They're in love with you.
I think they are.
So Zeke thinks the Bears have a soft spot for him. We caught up with Bears wideout Eddie Royal yesterday afternoon and asked what the Buckeyes back could potentially bring to the Bears.
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, we all saw that when he was at Ohio State, and our running back coach actually coached him. So there's the connection there, and we all know what type of player he is, and whatever team he's drafted to, he's going to have a long, great professional career.
Another Big Ten product the Bears chose in the 5th round a year ago, Adrian Amos, who started at safety from opening day, had off-season surgery, according to Vic Fangio. Neither the defensive coordinator nor Amos himself would reveal what was operated on, but he was listed on the injury report late in the season with a shoulder problem. But he has been participating in the team's voluntary workouts without any issues. And Amos was the rookie winner of the annual Brian Piccolo Award, recognized yesterday at Hallis Hall. with tight end Zach Miller, the veteran winner. It's given to those players voted upon by their teammates who show great dedication, loyalty, teamwork, a commitment to excellence, and a sense of humor, like that of the late Bears running back after whom it's named. With a couple of former Bears, Alex Brown and Patrick Manley, and the executive editor of Pro Football Weekly, Hub Arkush. Want to talk about some guys, first-round talent on the defensive side, but definitely some baggage. Eastern Kentucky's Noah Spence, who started out at Ohio State before they gave him the boot, and Ole Miss's defensive lineman Robert Nkemdiche, who was the big star when it came to signing day a few years ago at Ole Miss. Who would you guys be more interested in drafting, and perhaps a safer pick in terms of who you would like to see, should by chance even the Bears happen to move down if they're interested enough?
I like Noah Spence. I mean, I think he fits a need. I think he fits a need at rushing the quarterback. I love his first step. I mean, he bends the corner like a defensive end, but he can also drop. I think the kid's a really good athlete, and you'll get great value for him.
I'm with you on Noah Spence. I love him on tape. He's great, but the question is, how far or how deep did the scouts go in checking out these guys' background? Because are they worth it? How high are you willing to put some of these red flags in the draft? To me, that's the question. You got to figure out where you could draft those guys. You need to go talk to their high school, gym teacher, to their math teacher, to the barber, whoever, and find out truly who they are. Are some of these mistakes they made kind of kid mistakes, and have they grown up? And I think if you find out the answers you want, which are good, I wouldn't be opposed to getting Noah Spence in the second round.
And in Spence's case, checking with the folks at Ohio State, I know Nkemdiche is a real frustrating guy to watch on tape in terms of the talent that he has, but just not putting it all together.
These are both former #1 high school prospects in the country going into college. The difference is Nkemdiche is never really shown that ability. He's a freak. The body is incredible. What an athlete. To me, Spence, arrow pointing up. He's worked on his problems. He got himself sober. He stayed out of trouble for the most part. Played well at Eastern Kentucky. Played well the 2 times he played FBS schools. You look at Nkemdiche, on the other hand, you don't find much on the tape. He flashes the athletic ability was well, but he seems to take plays off. He doesn't seem focused, and he's still getting goofier. Did you see the story recently? Wants to get a signing bonus so he can go buy himself a Panther. Yeah, that'll play well in the neighborhood, So I think you could probably trust Spence a little bit more character-wise.
Patrick, how much do you think the Randy Gregory situation from last year with Dallas, now he's going to start out this year on the suspended list too? How much is that a warning sign when considering particularly Spence, who we're talking about?
Well, I think it's real big because it depends how high you draft them, though. Like, I got to go back to where you draft them. If you're getting them in the second round, then that's a wasted pick. But history shows a lot of these guys do get in trouble again. They get in trouble. They get a nice contract. They go buy a big cat or whatever he's going to go buy, and they get in trouble. But, I hope he's not that. And you have to do your true research on these guys to figure out, have they cleaned up their act.
This is not going deep enough, but I talked to both of them at the Combine this year. Nkemdiche doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why people are questioning him. Noah Spence, I made my mistakes. I understand. I'm focused. I'm getting better. This is my life's dream. Again, that's why I say I think one arrow is pointing up. One is going sideways at best.
And neither of those players figures to be of interest to the Bears at number 11 if that's where they stay. Both of those names will probably come afterwards on Thursday night or beyond. Former Bulls head coach Tom Thibodeau meets the media in Mini. Tibbs explains the biggest reason why he decided to take the T-Wolves gig. And the Cubs are practicing what Joe Madden preaches, especially at Wrigley Field. We head back to the north side when Sportsnet Central continues.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Pep Boys, Target, Ace, O'Reilly Auto, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading...
It's a whole new ball game with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV.
It is magic.
Experience the ultimate season ticket, now at a new lower price.
Unbelievable.
Every punch-out, every rundown,
What a play.
and every walk-off. All at your fingertips. And with MLB.TV included, you can watch nearly 100 live games a week on over 400 supported devices. Don't miss a minute of the action. Follow your favorite team on any screen with MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV. Order now.
A home is where life is lived. The unmistakable beauty and performance of Unilock pavers and walls enrich the quality of outdoor living, where perfect settings and cherished moments become memories that last a lifetime. Live life beautifully with Unilock.
Time has come today at Berwyn Kia. Now's the time to save. For a very limited time, Berwyn Kia announces triple time savings. Drive a brand new Kia Forte, Kia Soul, or Kia Rio. Your choice. Only $12,795 or $149 per month. And bad credit is no problem because we own the bank. We look at your future, not your past. Time to get approved. Berwyn Kia on Harlem and Ogden, just north of I-55 or BerwynKia.com.
With the wind blowing in, the Cubs had to play some small ball, and they did behind 5 solid innings of work from their 5th starter, Kyle Hendricks. They beat the Brew Crew 4-3. They're now 5-2 at the friendly confines, a place where Joe Madden expects the best from his team and the squad in the other dugout as well.
It's always good to win at home. You always want to play well above 500 at home. We love playing here, but so does everybody else. You know, when a visiting team comes, that's when I talked about embrace the target. When you're going to play teams possibly that aren't doing as well, they're going to come in here. There's going to be 40,000 people. The place is electric all the time. It's a playoff atmosphere, and we've been doing well. So you got this big old target right on your chest, and we have to respond to that. And to this point, we have.
Tom Thibodeau took the job last week, but his introductory press conference as the Timberwolves president of basketball operations and head coach didn't happen until yesterday. He thanked Jerry Reinsdorf for his first head coaching job here with the Bulls, but now looks forward to the personnel control he'll have, not to mention coaching a young, talented roster in Minnesota.
I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to be back. I like to begin by thanking Len for this unbelievable opportunity. The big thing for me with this job was the makeup of the roster. And I just loved the makeup of the roster. And that did not happen by accident. That was Flip's vision.
Time for a CSN News Alert. It was a real rotten second half for the LA Clippers Monday night in Portland. Not only did they lose the game to fall into a 2-2 series tie with the Blazers, but Blake Griffin re-aggravated a quad injury that will sideline him for the rest of the postseason. And Chris Paul underwent surgery for a right hand fracture yesterday. That's going to sideline him indefinitely. That removes nearly 39 points per game from the Clips lineup. Pacers and Raptors split the opening 4 games. The scene returned to Toronto last night. Indiana led by 13 after 3, but is down to 2 midway through the 4th. Norman Powell with the steal, and he finishes the break with a big slam to tie it up at 92. 2 minutes later, Kyle Lowry drives, finds DeMar DeRozan for the go-ahead triple. DeRozan with a team-high 34 points. Then with under 3 seconds remaining, Indiana trailed by 3 with the ball. George passes out of the double team to Solomon Hill, who buries the three-pointer. But officials would review it and found the ball was still in Hill's hands when the clock went to 0. The Raptors win 102-99 to take a 3-2 series lead. Meantime, same situation for the Celtics and the Hawks as that scene went swifted over to Atlanta. As we pick things up in the third quarter, the Hawks dominated for former Bull Kyle Korver, draining the triple to make it a 9-point game. And later in the quarter, Mike Scott lines up and hits from distance. Scott had 17 on the night. They outscored Boston 42-23 in the third. Star of the fourth, Al Horford with the nice give and go to another former Bull, Thabo Sefolosha for the slam. This one all Atlanta, 110-83 as they take a 3-2 series lead. Plays of the day are presented by Lexus for number 3. Back to Wrigley Field. Javier Baez attempting to steal second, initially ruled out, but the Cubs utility man protests for the challenge. And on the replay, we find he gets around the tag with his right hand and gets his foot on the bag before the hand comes off. The call would be overturned. Baez would later score what turned out to be the winning run in the 4-3 Cubs victory. Number 2, back to Toronto. Chris Sale getting some defensive help right off the bat in the first inning. Brett Lowry making the diving grab and throwing out Michael Saunders at first. Sox got the bats out too as they extend their winning streak to 5 with a 10-1 win as they go for the sweep a little bit later on today. And number 1, Braves Red Sox, Mookie Betts hits a fly ball to shallow right field. Atlanta's Daniel Castro makes the over-the-shoulder sliding grab and then doubles off the runner at first. But a closer look in the replay shows the ball actually bounced out of Castro's glove and he made a bare hand grab. The Red Sox won 11-4. Atlanta is having a lousy start to the season, but Castro does get the play of the day. And there was an unusual sight yesterday on Michigan Avenue. Danica Patrick took her race car for a spin, helped